Hello, you wonderful humans, and just a very heartfelt plea. Launceston Comedy was born from the stadium. I'd always wanted to retire into comedy, but the political line in the sand was drawn with suddenly billions of dollars making us question our values, where we are as Tasmanians, where we want to go. I'm pretty clear what side of the fence I'm on. But as Australians, we were once a proud nation, a united nation. We turned back the Japanese soldiers at Gallipoli. Sorry, not Gallipoli. Luckily, I'm not a history teacher. But we turned back the Japanese soldiers at the Kokoda Trail, an imperial war army of 1,000 years of discipline that would slaughter women and children rather than retreat. And we as Aussies did that. We turned them back. We as Australians are proud, fabulous, fucking funny creatures, humane, interesting, intelligent. And our culture, what it is to be an Aussie, is not going to be sold, is not going to be dictated by foreign humans coming onto our soil and saying in our governments, why isn't there more people of colour here? Because we accept in good faith, and you're part of us. When you're an Australian, you're a fucking Aussie. But when you come here and you demand change, you want to instill your own laws, you want for a world that is a replica of what you left, then that is not fair, not logical, not reasonable. Now, Launceston Comedy is primarily a political comedy channel. It's very Karen. I feel I whinge a bit too much. So there is random comedy coming to YouTube. And my first stand-up show is coming. It's called What the Fuck Happened to Reality? Like, seriously, what the fuck happened to reality? The Tasmanian politician IQ show. Like, there's also documentaries being made. So the Stadium, the Shit Show, which is about your voices. As a writer, I create, I script, I develop, I orchestrate. But as a documentary maker, I sit back and I listen. This is not about me. All my research before I even started Launceston Comedy was reading comments, every single comment posted on every single government platform by the public. And of course there's an AI percentage that needs to be, look at this, AI percentage comedy. AI percentage that needs to be fulfilled, but, or not needs to be fulfilled, sorry, but there's an AI percentage that's pretty immeasurable that clicks on certain algorithms and all sorts of stuff. But the bottom line is, as a documentary maker, please, it's not about me, it's your story. I want your goggly, your eulogy, as Ben Stiller said in Zoolander. You are at an epoch in history, and I will forever, and I will never apologise for having an extremely high IQ. All of my childhood was the Reichard, the blots, the testing, the you name it, and then to reach my teens and be told it's so dysfunctionally high, my IQ, it's dysfunctional. So that's, because if you're not a fucking mathematician, you're fucked. Like, if you've got a high IQ. But to vacillate at the top 98%, which I did, I graduated in drama and every academic thing in schools. And when you're in the top 2%, like what's the sister called? One of the Kardashian sisters said, if you're not the most intelligent person in the room, you shouldn't be in that room. And if you're not always looking to world leaders and experts and data and science and fact and being solidly grounded in fact, like I will always empirically research anything to the degree that I can. And all my teaching career has been focused on elevating intellect. But my personal passion is working with the children nobody wants. You know, I was going to make a joke about the kids that should have been eaten on the Epstein Island, but that's too raw. But truly, like the little humans that are always the last priority in any schooling environment. And I've sat in classrooms across Tasmania. Sorry to denigrate into my little personal story, but having relief taught because there's no clarity or equity of purpose. No clarity or equity. There's no employment of teachers unless it's through Facebook or Bob's mate. And moving from interstate, you're out of that loop. Like my first thought was, do I go to the Equity Commission? Like, what is this? You can't. And as a result, I've been to probably every school in Launceston and Hobart, pretty much Catholic, independent, and what I've seen, and you're very stealth as a relief teacher because nobody gives a shit. You're just a lump of breath, an organic doorstop on the day. You're just there to service the teacher being away. And a huge amount of times, I'd probably say 90% of the time, I would step into a classroom and cover mental health, a teacher on mental health leave, formally or informally. And you see that from filthy classrooms, from elevated violent children. I've been in classrooms with children with nits crawling in their hair. I've been at schools for weeks and months and terms, and what truly broke my soul was working in environments, of course, where children have taken human life, their family, their parents. You're looking at, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a counsellor, I'm an educator. I'm there to get their minds working, get them on track and engaged, because when you are educated, you have unlimited perspective. You are omnipotent. You are not bound by your choices. You are striving constantly to create better choices in your life. And what's made me truly sad is I think the impending re-election of the Education Minister, which is a criminal mockery, that again, it comes back to the stadium and Tasmanian politics and where do you draw the line in the sand, people? And for me, forced retirement, I'd never work under a Liberal government or Palmer anymore. I was ready to give up on the last bloody Education Minister. I can't even remember who that was. I know there was Rockcliffe in the mix at one point. That was a fucking blink and you miss it. It's funny, whatever political agenda, like during COVID, we were getting emails to teachers saying, you are a servant of the public. Don't forget, you are a servant of the public. And this was while bus drivers were in fucking masks and people were being told to stay home and everything was in a chronic lockdown state of fear. Yet we were the expendable commodity. Teachers, we'll just be at the schools and keep them open. And I saw teachers having breakdowns and not coping, and to have been in classrooms over the COVID period. And I walked away at the start. I wasn't going to do the fucking online Canvas shit. I'm not trained in that shit. But back to the stadium, back to education, back to the birth of comedy. And big fucking tags on me, like this might be the only thing I ever achieved, and for me it'll be the greatest thing, that I had 1 million views. 1 million people jumped on board and said Tasmanian politics is beyond fucked. And that was hacked. And I can't even go into the woods to the degree I've had everything hacked, and repeatedly so. And I keep making the joke that I buy Temu phones for the spyware so I can be bloody up to date and not hacked. You royal feathers when you point shit out bluntly and honestly. And the fact that I myself have experienced the most horrific trauma from the mental health system in Tasmania, did that so dramatically. I'm on board with the developing class action and cases against the health department. That's beyond a fucking joke. Like, I had an interaction, probably AI, who fucking knows, a minister or the goddess herself of health. I'm a shareholder in this fucking dressing up animals company. What the fuck? Like, I've never heard before the stadium. You just let shit ride and you roll along in your bubble of bliss, and you know the government's bad and you make the best. And I break my soul, but I think it was the most important thing that I spent nearly 20 years of my life working with broken children to see the reality so I can fight for them. Sorry, I've even lost my train of thought. But you have this fuckwitted government that's putting money, billions of dollars, corrupt. They did a $2 million, like, numbers that come out of their asshole or their ether. It's just fucking phenomenal. But they did a publicity stunt of covering fake grass. Like, that doesn't ring alarm bells, what does? And where did all that go? Could have built bus stops, could do useful shit. So I'm trying to look at you, not too sure where. I'm trained in the voice and speech and being live. And this is so annoying. So please, I don't know, I'm not playing for anything. I truly don't give a jack shit people's choices in life. Like, I'm a very passionate plant-based person. I'm not vegan. Vegan's a fuckwit, and that's a whole another comedy show, because there will be What the Fuck Happened to Reality, the Tasmanian political comedy show, and then there'll be a follow-up show, Surviving the Loony Bin in Tasmania. So a lot of talks about mental health and comedy, and fuck, I want people on board for that, because if it's part of the class action as well. And finally, random comedy. We've got to laugh. My PhD research, my personal obsession with language, and Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford, who is the writer of the canon, or the group of works we call Shakespearean. If we're not elevating our connection in language, understanding its mastery, and anyone in theatre will tell you that, it's control. If you control the emotion, you control the narrative. And that's a frightening political ploy. It's like 1984 where they shut down books. And I'm 100% focused on Tasmanian politics. I don't want distractions. I am occasionally, I will look at the federal state of things, but I'm so, I'm trying to say abhorrently in the adjective. I'm so actively being abhorritized by the fucking disgust of the disgust I have for that lisping fuckwit who can't get voice and speech lessons. You know, go and watch the movie The King's Speech. Who wanted to blame guns rather than the failure on every level in his government. And a wonderful bloke, Chocky, more power to him. He's a media commentator, pointed out Donald Trump's war machine, as much as you criticise it, it's the best and the biggest on the planet. In a day, in an hour, boom, in a foreign country, take a fucking leader out. Here, we can't keep a watch list on the local fuckwits at the local fucking yelling centre. And human lives were lost, and trauma. And then all of a sudden, and I will forever fight to the death, I will fucking John Cena, throat punch a fucking woke cunt. I can't be more black and white about that. You will not dictate, you will not denigrate, you will not weaponize and control language. You will not have a narrative. And I'm going slightly off topic, but this is a fun rant for me. Comedy, in the scale of woke comedy, somehow the illusion is legitimized. What is not reality? And again, like the stadium, that line in the sand, do you have the intellectual capacity, the moral ethics? Do you have the solid intellectual reasoning? And I think with Tasmania having a populace of 50% illiteracy, you have a very low level IQ. And calling a fact is not denigrating. Pointing out low level IQ is fuckwittery, is not denigrating. To see people pissing and pooping in shop doorways, to see council in Hobart, someone just hold me while I laugh, build, now you got to see it, a fucking bike path with a raised concrete lump, and then the bike path continues. Now it's a little skinny shit of a bit street where cars seemingly have to go past, and the bus stop has to poke out into the fucking street. Like we pay what? Our design planners and our $5 million tier of yearly salaries for shit in a small country town where you can't get regular buses or clean buses or public transport. And I think the eco-credentials of Tasmania have been destroyed in the lifetime I've known Tassie by this fuckwit government. It's beyond the dead fish and the pig steroids and the fucking, I don't know what they're doing with greyhound racing. It's not my business. At the end of the day, I don't eat animals and I don't mistreat them. And I support people who do that. But fuck me, everything from their latest hub, I couldn't even begin to tell you the horror stories there. The big investment that reeks of chemical destroy your body plastic in an unventilated room because they build the cheapest shit. Like nothing's on an eco-credential. The music this is my inner Karen, I forgot. The music they play is so horrifically loud. Even with your own phone up to the dangerous level, you can't block it out. So sue people for hearing loss down the track. My personal encounters, being the chick at the counter before FOBs, before any random shit person can walk in the gym, and quote of the year, government don't want lockers. So we don't have lockers in the gym because the government don't want them. The chick took her lanyard off like we're at high school in a netball class with her own dirty fucking keys and multiple keys and wanted to give it to me. Now, I know I present, I do a good impersonation of a fucking grown-up, professionally on par, okay? That's a different world. You step into different worlds. So I am very trustworthy, and I'm a fucking trustworthy human. You can't get that from this far in life. Being a teacher and not. I think that's the benchmark. You don't see many teachers pulled up in the Epstein files, do you? So, yeah, this chick wanted to hand me fucking random keys to the place in the fob. Now, you walk around corners, it's all designed with corridors and corners, and you'd only hope they've got cameras, but fuck knows. I could have been out the door, passed the keys to someone, swallowed a key. Who fucking knows? Now that's a safety issue, and rumour has it, I don't know jack shit what this PCYC place is. They have to have something to do with the police. Like, are they not on board with safety? You know, they have kiddies there. You go to the counter is my greatest joy because I grew up in retail and hoteliership and come from a family of caring and service, and I love retail and, worked in retail management. You've got people behind the counter, and number one, they'll fucking ignore you. They're all fucking on their phones or with someone on their phone. Oh, because the internet's not right. Because the funniest fucking thing is, and God bless us with the stadium built, and I'll repeat that, everything's fucked and not working, and the staff either ignore you, or they're bitching about how nothing fucking works, and there's just endless tradies washing around. Big bitch chat. It is comedy gold. So yeah, when the stadium starts, our Temu build, it's going to be legendary. The building skills and the management. So it's not a gym. It's not run as a gym. It's not a charity. It's not there to help people. Like, it's not even kind. Like, I had to stand there and ask, in my best polite Karen voice, because other people were standing with me and they were all rolling their eyes and we were doing that together. In my very polite voice, excuse me, is there a time limit on being ignored? I could go and have a coffee and come back. Oh, yeah, saw you standing there. I've even lost my train of thought with the hub and the fantastic level of service. And so it doesn't care, like, for Centrelink recipients. If you're on Centrelink, the true humanity would be a kind and charitable act. You just pay your $11 a week for membership. No, you have to pay a lump sum of $250 or $280 or something in one hit, or one lump sum. Or you can't just pay weekly because you're poor. No, they've got to gouge a big lump out of you at once because I'm going to cut this. It's charity based. Or there will be a comedy series on my interactions with Tasmanian hairdressers and hairstyles. It will be funny. So I'm not impressed with the hub at all. Just rude, unfriendly, unfinished, unhelpful. I wanted to ask about help with the bike. You can't navigate the website. You can't. 1,000 fucking trees are dead on the counter because, according to Ogilvy, our IE techie spec genius of a fucking, she has 8 portfolios. Who knows that fucking woman does, apart from pose in every single one of them. Oh, she's the environment minister. Let's not forget that. That's probably why there's zero fucking environment. Oh, AI, we're going to be an AI revolution. We're all wonderful plastic. Think technology. Fucking, you can't ring a men's shed. You can't fucking whack up some touchscreen iPads or even interactive shit to save all the dead paper on the table. And even the dead paper's worse than useless. Sorry, I've got a cough. And yet I'll be off there. I'll get my money's worth. Oh, I'm coughing, I might have to end. Wow, thank you for listening to my coughing. So every level of government fucking action is inaction and comical in its fucking hysterical mismanagement. And I know my soul is Tasmanian, my family, I'm a Tasmanian now. I've left my homeland of Melbourne to retire on Tasmanian soil because Tasmania is the most beautiful, perfect, wonderful place on earth, and it is just being destroyed and denigrated and run into the ground and made into the most horrific global mockery of petty, fuck-witted greed. There is small cachet, a small collective group of people with such invested greed that it's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. And to put billions, and I say this because it is an open-ended check, this Liberal government took the ferry, which is its lifeline for tourism. And I can tell you from the 80s, so like my earliest memories on the ferry, on sleeping bags on the table, it was fucking gold. Anything went on the ferry. Like people were bringing over cannabis trees the size of a house and vice versa. Best memories of the ferry. Now we have a dickwit of a politician who fucking screwed it up to the extent of, I would say, $500 million or more. Like how in human history, in a corporate environment, look what happened with my hands here, it's serious. What happened in the Budweiser scenario? In a fucking corporate environment, you'd be sacked. But what happens to the dipshits in charge of this? They piddle off to do nothing on the public purse and be paid. They have no portfolios. They literally do the rounds of every fucking local business, and that's about it. They're not on top of policy making, or I'm not going to do their job for them. But the fucking sheer gall of a human being who is part of that, maybe in charge. I don't know, I'm getting up to speed with Tasmanian politics, but it's a politician who is texting and hit sheep, from what I heard, and I love rumours. If you can tell me a rumour, that's all politics is, rumour and gossip among the half-wits. But this dipshit, this fuckwitted, we never heard about the cow, and as I said, I don't eat them, but I'm kind to them. Like, what the fuck happened to the cow he slammed into? And I can't even stop laughing. It's like one of my favourite jokes I heard was that I shouldn't go there, but a guy was on magic mushrooms. It's a true story in Melbourne. And he was on magic mushrooms riding home on his bike. And he thought he saw an elephant. And he couldn't believe it. He thought he was having the best trip of his life. So he slammed into it. It was a fucking loose elephant from the zoo. Dark humour. Same with, how do you fucking not see a sheep or a cow or whatever the fuck? Did he hit that dressed up animal? I'll be dark about that. I think the only true hope is comedy, is laughter, is intellect, is coming together and knowing we are the best fucking people as Australians. And the line in the sand for me is something I'm going to fight for. I am not, while I can humanly breathe, going to spend a single day on this planet doing one thing that doesn't help a child in need. Donating $20, fighting for homeless children's rights. I don't care. The most vulnerable, the most neglected, and the most criminally treated are the children by this government's notion, this brain fart of a greed of a thought, this blackmailing by the footy good, fucking, you can't have a fucking footy team if we don't have a fucking oval. I didn't know they were a tax-free organisation. No wonder there's the cult mindset there. And I can't even inhale, because to me the concept of billions and what it could do, when you see people scrabbling at a garage sale in a dollar box for clothes for their kids. You walk the supermarkets, and don't go to Coles though, they've got the American spyware. Fuck me, that's outrageous. The government allowed that. This is a man who owns the company with ties to Epstein and Trump, and it's government spyware on a level that you can't comprehend. You go in that building to shop, your biometrics are checked. Your breath, your heart rate, where you're going, what you buy, what you didn't buy, what aisles you walk. If that isn't the scariest fucking thing, when you just want some Vegemite and toast, Vegemite and bread, that's just beyond belief. So yeah, big no to Coles from now on. I'm a Woolies girl. Fucking love Woolies. Can't shout them out enough. They're kind, they're clean. Not like the corporate greed you smell walking into that place. Oh God, I've gone off topic again. I'm just having a lovely little rant. I'm going to have to wind it up, I guess. But Launceston Comedy, born in the birth and the fire and the fury of the stadium. And I will fight for comedic rights and free speech. And that's the biggest thing. And I will fight the woke. And I will fight for Australia to be Australia. No more immigration, please. We lock the doors and we work at unity. And we'll fucking hold hands and sing songs. Is that what? Fucking that dipshit fucking... I can't even call him the Prime Minister. I'm so insulted. And the sad pattern, when you look to analyse and understand the history of Australian politics, and I've been learning and on a massive trajectory, learning curve of Tasmanian politics, and what I take for fact, I augment with people's comments, with people's voices, what I listen to, what I'm told. And I think you don't be a documentary maker unless you're invisible. I'm here to listen to you, and I want to hear your voices. So yeah, I guess I'll wrap this up by saying please get in touch. The hacking has made shit so difficult, but 3 words, Launceston Comedy Original is the #1 email. Otherwise, anyway, I'm so computer and technology dyslexic. Like, I got a text with flames, emojis, you know, my passionate hatred of emojis. Emojis equal intellect. Like, we're all going to denigrate to flashing fucking lights on our heads. Or, but I didn't know what it meant. I thought, oh, am I going to hell? Like, it's on fire means good. So please, any humans out there that want to be part of 1, comedy, film, skit making, have some fun, have some laughter. 2, be on board for documentaries. I just want to hear your voice. I just want to know your viewpoint, and I am 100% biased. I always will be. I will not engage with people who support the stadium. Immoral, financial, intellectual, they're the 3 primary reasons, and they're ingrained. They're not going to change overnight with my breath in their face. You know, there's a reasoning and a logic, and people can see a picture this big and they think it's a good thing because they might like to go and sit on their asses, scream at fucking young lad millionaires run around. Defies logic. And finally, the comedy shows. So, What the Fuck Happened to Reality? That's a stand-up show, the Tasmanian Political Slideshow. And still in a working title, but What Cunts Are Making Bank While People Die? So, a mental health investigation into why when there are such good, kind, helpful, wonderful people who want to help, can't, because of the shit levels of incomprehensibly, I can't even call it management, just fucking clowning behaviour. You know, and I will forever take the piss. I will forever laugh. Oh God, the laughter. This will just be my last take. When you have people dying needlessly in hospitals, when you have the most horrific emergency wards and the most horrific mental health care of people, when you have the most horrific dysfunctioning people on cancer dying, I can't comprehend that. Mental health pain is a horrific pain, but it's not a physical pain to the extent that someone in pain from cancer, like my soul bleeds for those humans. They are in such physical pain, and they wait, and they dribbly are educated to follow a process, and there's third world doctors if you're lucky. There's no psychiatry in Launceston. Everything's a locum. There's no psychologists. There's no and this is across the board. I can only speak what I know of locally. Why? It beggars belief, because we have billions of dollars for footy, but also we have money that is spent on $1,000 a day for fuckwits to post animals in dress up. We give people $1,000 a day to take their dogs to be clipped at dog parlours. That isn't the most Marie Antoinette moment. Like, you've read Auto Cue for 20 years, so it just absolves you of an intellect, does it? Like, the facetious nature of the Stepford wife mentality, that the Liberal Party sell this perfect family narrative, this beautiful nuclear family. Look at us, we're so wonderful. And the Liberal Party families are so fucking wonderful that they won't send their children to a public school. They won't have their children attended to by state government doctors or private health. They won't know what it is to have a child hungry, to have a child cowering in the corner during a violent domestic argument because there is no refuge. There is nowhere for a woman to escape with a child. And I've worked with so many, oh man, I shouldn't be sexist. There are, of course, everyone. But there are so many horror stories that break your soul. I had a teenage girl I was with whose mum was so broken from such a traumatic story that she told me all of in the first minute of meeting me. Just the dot point after dot point after dot point of government failure, police failure, local failure, just any level of care where someone's getting money, someone's paid a wage, negated. So this poor woman was so broken, so lost in her addiction. Her child was her only saving grace, and her child would willingly break into cars and sleep the night with her mother, just to be with her mother and keep her alive. Bring on the comedy and bring on an end to this fucking stadium and this fucking government. Thank you.